Man, oh man, it feels like it has been forever since I recorded a video, and I'm back. I'm sorry about the extended hiatus that I had. It's been kind of really crazy, and I'm just gonna start off this video by saying, be prepared, because between this week and then not so much the following week, but then the week after. So like of the next 3 weeks, I'm extremely busy. And in fact, one of those weeks I'm going on vacation. I'm leaving the country, I'm going up to Canada for like 5 days maybe. So I highly doubt that there will be any content. Maybe I'll record some things, but most likely not. Anyway, apologize if the wind is really bad. You know, I do things to set up my camera so that it can withstand as much wind as possible. And it's really windy today, as you may or may not be able to tell. If you can't tell, then that's great. And if you can tell, I do apologize about the wind. But what I want to talk about today, and I had a whole topic. I had something I wanted to discuss, and I'll probably say that for tomorrow's video, maybe even later in the week. But I had a thing planned out that I wanted to do, and then I saw the article for today, which is Tuesday. Happy Labor Day to everybody in the United States, by the way. I know it was yesterday, but happy Labor Day, belated Labor Day. And MetaHub put out an article today about something that really applies to both Jurassic World Alive and Pokemon Duel. Now, if you follow me for Jurassic World Alive, you don't probably know a whole lot about how my channel got started, but I actually got my channel started by playing Pokemon Duel, and I still play it. So if you're watching from Pokemon Duel, I still play Pokemon Duel. Just maybe I'll do kind of a gameplay video today. I haven't decided yet, but that's neither here nor there. There is something that is inherently common about the two games that MetaHub talked about in today's article, and I will put a link in the description below about the MetaHub article if you want to check it out. But what the MetaHub article was about, and what I want to talk to you guys about today, is RNG. Maybe everybody's favorite 3 letters, and in the gaming world it's probably everybody's least favorite 3 letters. A content creator for Pokemon Duel named Rico, if you're not familiar with him, I'll put a link to his channel. I think I'll put it here. If you're interested in Pokemon Duel content, he does a lot of good stuff over there. But probably a week ago, he did a video about breaking his phone. And in his video, and this is nothing that is new, nothing uncommon, like I'm not bagging on him in any way, shape, or form. But in his video, he talks about he is a very competitive person. And he tends to rage on occasion. And I can't say that anybody who plays either of these two games doesn't know exactly how it feels to want to rage when playing your game. Like, for example, if you're playing Jurassic World Alive and your opponent has a dinosaur with a 5% crit, basically the only way that they can win is to land a crit, and they do, and you lose on that crit. Doesn't feel good. Another example would be if your opponent is using Stegoceratops and lands one stun and then lands a second stun, and you're like, okay, well, I expected the first one. The second one has a 33% chance of stunning, so you know, 1 in 3 is still kind of likely. But then when you get stunned with the third one and it's only a 10% chance, well, then you want to rage, because basically you know at that point that you have most likely lost the entire battle. And it really is, it's rage inducing. Like, very few things are as frustrating as knowing that you probably should win a battle and then losing the battle. And the same thing applies in Pokemon Duel. If you have your opponent locked in, back on their back line, they have a terrible matchup. We'll say Mew versus Blaziken, and you have the Mew, they have the Blaziken. Really, the only way Blaziken is going to win that battle is if your Mew rolls its white. And when it does, you are most likely going to lose, and it feels awful, especially when that costs you the game. But here's the thing, And here's what caught my eye with the MetaHub story. I really liked the way that they explained this, because when you put it in this perspective, it makes dealing with the RNG when it doesn't go your way a lot easier to swallow, a lot easier to tolerate. And that is, if it weren't for RNG, your game would be basically dictated on how much you spent on the game. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we'll use Jurassic World Life for an example, as I'm looking at my game here to see what's nearby. We do have new dinosaurs this week. What I mean by that is, if I have a level 17 T-Rex and my opponent has a level 18 T-Rex, I'm going to lose. Like, I'm gonna lose. It's already been decided. My opponent has either spent more or been luckier to find these dinosaurs in the wild, but all of the can I outplay them, can I outmaneuver them is gone. If it's completely RNG is taken out of it, if those crit chances weren't involved, then I know already that I've lost that matchup. Now, there are ways around that. I have to swap out a dinosaur to counter what their dinosaur does, but it's no longer a game, it's who has the better dinosaurs. And that's not fun, because honestly, no matter how much you've spent, there's probably someone who has spent more. No matter how much you've grinded, there's probably someone who has grinded more. No matter how fortunate you've been on darting your dinosaurs, someone's probably at a higher level that has more DNA. And then what do you have? Like, wouldn't you rather play a game where you knew, even if I'm outmatched with strategy and a little bit of luck, I can win? I know I would rather have that in a game, quite honestly, because I'm not going to be the one that spends the most on any game. And there are people who have discretionary money to just blow through, and that's what people do with their discretionary money is their business. I do like the fact that I can know that I don't have to spend anything and I can still have a chance at winning. And so I think that a lot of people get caught up and get mad about RNG when RNG is what makes the game fun in the first place. That's why you play the game. And you know, one of my favorite movies is Rounders, and Rounders, if you don't know, it's a poker movie with Matt Damon. One of his it's actually kind of a flop, I believe, when it was first released, and they buried it at the box office because Good Will Hunting was coming out and they didn't want Matt Damon's name associated with a flop of a movie before this huge blockbuster of a movie came out. But Rounders has gained a cult following since its initial release, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote, but the essence of it is Matt Damon's character is talking, he's just lost all of his money in a hand of poker that he played poorly, and he's talking about how most people don't remember the hands that they won. Take, for example, in Pokemon Duel or Jurassic World Alive, the battles that you've won where RNG was in your favor, or you had the better figure, better dinosaur, and you won just like mathematically you probably should have. You don't remember any of those, but you can remember with amazing accuracy and detail the bad beats, going back to the original quote that I was paraphrasing there. And it's so true. Like, if you think about it, I could probably say, put down in the comments below, tell me about the time that you lost, whether it be Pokemon Duel or Jurassic World Live. Tell me about the time that you lost when you shouldn't have. And I'm gonna have a ton of people putting in comments of, you know, my only chance of winning was to stun my opponent 3 times, and then I did, you know, things like that. Or my opponent had a 1% miss in Pokemon Duel, and they landed the 1% miss that allowed me to win. Everybody has those stories. Nobody remembers those. But if I ask you, tell me about the times that you lost when you should have, my comment section is going to be full of just like, I've got the worst beat, and in everybody's mind, theirs is the worst one because it affects them directly. So the point of all this is Rico kind of put out a call in his video when he broke his phone about you know, what do players need to do, and is it a problem? And my reply to you, Rico, is that, you know, everybody's competitive. At least people that are playing the game, the majority of them are competitive. Nobody likes losing. But the thing is, if you take all chance out of the game, maybe you've lost before you even played, and that's worse than losing to a 1% miss. And when you look at it that way, I can handle it. I can take losing a game, losing a dinosaur battle that I probably should have won. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I thought it was a really good article, and you know, I've touched on RNG before in a Pokemon Duel video, but you know, I don't notice it nearly as much in Jurassic World Alive. You know, there are times where I feel like I get stun locked, and no matter what I do, it doesn't work. Or my opponent has, I think this morning I was playing Jurassic World Alive, and my opponent had a dinosaur that had a 5% crit, and it landed consecutive crits to knock out probably my Stegosaurus. And I was like, well, that sucks, because they just took out my win condition, my best dinosaur, with a dinosaur that I easily should have walked over. And so that part of it sucks. But at the same time, if I'm using a dinosaur where my opponent's completely outclassing me, I like knowing that I do have the opportunity to get a little bit of luck on my side and to pull out the victory. But let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about that? And with all that being said, I'm going to actually battle. I do have an incubator slot open in my Jurassic World Alive game, and if we go look at the top, you can see that we have under 2 weeks left in tournament season number 1. If you follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, there's a link in the description below, but I posted a tweet of a guy that I lost to, and speaking of RNG, like, completely outclassed any deck that I could dream of running, and he absolutely smoked me. In fact, truth be told, I doubt the validity of my opponent's deck, because just doing some quick guesstimation on math, they would have needed something like 35,000 T-Rex DNA in order to create the deck that they had, and not that it's impossible to have that much T-Rex DNA, but let's just say that no, I don't think it's possible to have that much T-Rex DNA. So I just laughed. RNG was not with me. I didn't even put up a fight. But you have under 2 weeks to go. Remember, the rewards are amazing. It already is over 4,000 last time I checked in order to be in the top 500. I've made it over 3,800 barely, but as you can see, I'm just under that threshold now, down at 37 and change. I've continues to toy with my deck a little bit up here in where am I at? Am I in Sorna Marshes? In Sorna Marshes, I actually have a really good deck for this battle here. I'm seeing a lot of Tragodistus, and so I went ahead and buffed up. Does he have immunity? No. I went ahead and buffed up my Tanicolagris because I wanted something else with nullifiers, like my Monostegotops, because I was just struggling a lot with the Tragodistus. Very annoying dinosaur to try to battle. Decrease the speed. I believe My armor-piercing impact here should do just over 1,600 damage and knock my opponent out unless my opponent swaps. And it looks like my opponent left the game. I don't know. They didn't make a move, so let's see what happens here. If the timer runs down, they either got disconnected or I don't know what. But it looks like my opponent's not there. So if I remember correctly, my opponent is only going to do their very first move, which is going to be Superiority Strike in the instance of Stegodius. And with the timer running down, it's going to make for, I hope I don't lose this battle, but it's going to kind of make for a little bit of a boring battle. I apologize that this battle was so anticlimactic. This Paramoloch would have been nice to actually battle that, but 3-0 victory. It's going to be some trophies, so we inch closer to that 3,800 mark. I appreciate you guys sticking with me even though I haven't uploaded in several days, and as far as I know, there will be a video out tomorrow and most likely one out on Thursday as well. And follow me on Twitter because I might have some really cool pictures from this coming weekend that I decide to post. That's all I've got for today. So until next time.